In life, we are often confronted with challenges, people who try to provoke us, situations that test our patience, and moments when the world seems to demand a reaction from us. But I want to challenge your thinking today. Don't react. Cut them off silently. You see, in the heat of the moment, it's easy to react. We think we must defend ourselves, explain our side, or set things straight. But in reality, the true power lies in mastering your response. The more you react, the more you give others control over your emotions. But when you choose not to react, you take back control. Silence, though it may seem like a passive response, is actually one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Silence communicates strength. It communicates that you are in control, that you have nothing to prove, and that you are not easily swayed by the chaos around you. When someone insults you, criticizes you, or tries to drag you into the emotional turmoil, remember, you do not need to engage. Not every battle is yours to fight. And often the most strategic response is not to react at all. It is not weakness to disengage, it is strength. It takes immense strength to walk away from negativity without uttering a word. It takes wisdom to recognize that not everyone is worthy of your time or energy. You don't need to convince everyone of your worth. Your silence already speaks volumes. Don't waste your time trying to change people who have no intention of understanding you. Understand that some people are simply toxic, and the best way to deal with toxic people is to cut them off, not with anger, but with the quiet strength of disengagement. In cutting them off, you preserve your peace. When you stay composed in the face of provocation, you become the master of your emotions. The goal is not to let anyone control your state of mind. You set your own boundaries. And those boundaries, my friends, are your defense against unnecessary drama. It is not about ignoring problems. It's about recognizing that there is no point in fighting battles that don't serve your growth. You do not need to engage in every conflict. You do not need to respond to every challenge. The mature person knows when to speak and when to stay silent. The wise person understands that silence often says more than words ever could. And let's be clear, cutting people off silently does not mean you hold hatred or anger against them. It simply means you recognize their negative influence on your life and choose not to allow it to affect you. It means you are focused on your growth, your peace, and your purpose. You understand that not every relationship is meant to continue, and not every person deserves a place in your life. So when confronted with negativity, when faced with insults, or when others try to provoke you, choose to remain composed. Choose to let your silence be your strength. Your dignity will remain intact. Your peace will remain unshaken. And your life will continue moving forward with greater clarity, purpose, and peace of mind. Remember this, you don't need to react to every situation. Sometimes the greatest strength is found in what you don't say, in what you don't do. And in the end, when you rise above the noise, you will be the one standing in your own power. In every situation, you hold the power to choose how you respond. Too often, we let external events or people dictate our emotional state, as if we are mere reactors to the world around us. But the truth is, we are not bound to respond automatically. Our responses are not impulses, they are deliberate decisions we make in real time. When you feel yourself being provoked, frustrated, or overwhelmed, remember that you have a choice in that moment. You can choose to react impulsively, which often leads to regret. Or you can choose to pause and control how you engage. It's this pause, this moment of reflection, that holds the key to maintaining composure. The power to control your response allows you to avoid being swept up in the chaos, to avoid the emotional reactions that often cloud judgment. This control is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending that what happens to you doesn't affect you. It's about understanding that you do not have to act on every emotion you experience. Feelings may arise, but you can choose how to channel them. Anger, frustration, hurt, they are natural human responses. But how you choose to process and express those emotions is entirely within your control. Instead of reacting from a place of hurt, defensiveness, or panic, you can respond from a place of calm, wisdom, and clarity. The people and events around you do not have the right to determine how you feel, how you behave, or how you navigate the world. You are not a puppet, manipulated by the strings of others' words or actions. You are the driver of your own responses. When you learn to control your response, you gain freedom, the freedom to act in alignment with your values, your goals, and your vision, rather than reacting from a place of impulse. Mastering your response is a skill that requires practice. It means choosing to take a step back, to breathe, and to think before speaking or acting. It means cultivating the emotional intelligence to know when to engage and when to step away. It's in those moments of choice that you define the kind of person you are and the life you are creating for yourself. Control your response, and you are not simply surviving, you are thriving, grounded in the knowledge that your peace and your power lie within your ability to choose your reaction, no matter the circumstances. Silence is often misunderstood as weakness or indifference, but in reality, it can be one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. When you choose silence in moments of tension or provocation, you assert a level of control that words cannot match. Silence allows you to step outside of the noise and chaos, to rise above the fray and maintain your dignity. It speaks louder than any response could, sending a message that you are not easily shaken or manipulated by the external forces around you. The power of silence lies not just in what it prevents you from saying, but in what it communicates without a word. In a world that often rewards constant verbal defense and argument, choosing silence demonstrates that you do not need to prove anything to anyone. Your value is not contingent on what you say or how you react. Silence conveys strength, wisdom, and inner peace. It says, I am secure in who I am, and I do not need to engage in every exchange to feel validated. In moments when others are trying to provoke you, silence can be your most effective defense. The person trying to get a reaction from you expects something, either a defense, a rebuttal, or an emotional reaction. When you don't give them what they expect, you disarm them. Their power over you evaporates because they can no longer provoke or control your emotions. Instead of reacting to them, you take away their leverage over your state of mind, and in doing so, you keep your emotional equilibrium intact. Silence also allows you to maintain your peace. Sometimes the most respectful and powerful action you can take is to simply walk away from a situation or to disengage without making a scene. In doing so, you protect your energy, your focus, and your mental clarity. Engaging in unnecessary conflict can drain you, pulling you into negativity that ultimately does nothing to serve your personal growth or peace of mind. Silence helps you preserve your resources, your time, your attention, and your emotional energy so that you can direct them toward what truly matters. Silence gives you the space to reflect and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When you choose silence in a heated moment, you allow yourself time to process your emotions, consider your options, and decide how to best move forward. This is especially important when dealing with difficult or toxic individuals who may try to provoke you into a reaction that you later regret. Silence is a strategy. It is not passive, but a conscious choice to protect your peace and remain in control of your actions. Choosing silence doesn't mean you are avoiding issues or failing to stand up for yourself. It means you are prioritizing your peace and choosing not to engage with negativity. The act of silently stepping away can sometimes be the most powerful statement you make. By choosing silence, you are saying that you value your inner peace more than the need to prove a point or engage in a petty argument. In this way, silence becomes not only a shield but a symbol of your strength, maturity, and self-control. Emotional traps are one of the most subtle yet dangerous forces that can derail your peace and clarity. They are situations or interactions where others deliberately or sometimes unknowingly attempt to manipulate your emotions, often with the goal of provoking a reaction. These traps are designed to draw you into a cycle of emotional engagement, where you lose control over your responses and allow external circumstances to dictate your state of mind. To avoid these emotional traps, it's essential to recognize them for what they are: distractions that ultimately have no value in your journey toward peace and personal growth. The first step in avoiding emotional traps is to become self-aware. Understand the triggers that can provoke you. Certain people, situations, or topics may evoke strong emotional reactions in you: anger, frustration, insecurity, or defensiveness. Recognizing these triggers is the first line of defense. When you are aware of what sets you off, you can consciously decide to take a step back before reacting. You are not powerless in these situations. Rather, you have the ability to decide how to engage with them. The key is not to allow your emotions to control you. Emotional reactions are often immediate and instinctual, but they don't always serve your highest good. When someone attempts to manipulate you with guilt, shame, or blame, you must resist the urge to immediately defend yourself, argue, or engage in a back and forth. This is where the emotional trap lies. By reacting, you enter the cycle they've set up, playing into their hands and losing your power. The ability to resist these traps requires discipline and maturity. It takes emotional intelligence to recognize when someone is trying to manipulate your feelings and to disengage from that process. Instead of taking the bait and reacting, pause. Take a breath. Even if your emotions are stirred, you have the power to choose how you respond. The more you practice this control, the more you begin to realize that your peace and well-being are far more valuable than trying to win every emotional tug of war. Often, emotional traps are designed to provoke a sense of urgency, to make you feel that something must be done immediately or that your reaction is needed right now. But in reality, most situations are not as urgent as they seem. When someone pushes your buttons, it's easy to feel compelled to react, especially if their words or actions attack your pride or challenge your beliefs. But remember that giving in to this emotional pressure doesn't change the situation, it only escalates it. The best way to avoid being trapped in these emotionally charged situations is to not let the urgency or intensity of the moment dictate your behavior. When you avoid these emotional traps, you create space for clarity. Instead of responding in the heat of the moment, you give yourself the opportunity to think, reflect, and choose the best course of action. You take control of the situation instead of letting it control you. Whether it's stepping away from a conversation, taking a deep breath before responding, or simply not engaging at all, you become the one who determines the outcome, not the person trying to provoke you. By avoiding emotional traps, you also protect your relationships. Many conflicts arise from misunderstandings, pride, and reactive emotions. When you choose to remain calm and not react impulsively, you give yourself a chance to avoid unnecessary drama. You preserve not only your peace, but also the potential for a more positive and constructive interaction. In the end, avoiding emotional traps is a form of self-respect. It's recognizing that your emotional energy is too valuable to be wasted on toxic dynamics or petty conflicts. By holding your peace, you maintain your power and allow yourself to navigate life's challenges with wisdom, composure, and emotional balance. Preserving your peace is one of the most important commitments you can make to yourself. In a world that is constantly full of distractions, negativity, and conflict, it's easy to lose your sense of calm. But your peace is the foundation for everything else in your life, your productivity, your relationships, your creativity, and your well-being. It is fragile and precious, and once it is disturbed, it can take a long time to regain. Therefore, you must actively protect and prioritize it. Preserving your peace requires awareness. It means being mindful of the people, situations, and environments that disturb your sense of calm. Not everything that demands your attention deserves it. We often find ourselves caught up in conflicts, arguments, or emotional turmoil that ultimately drain us. And for what? Many of these situations are transient, and their impact on our peace is temporary. The challenge is recognizing when to let go and when to protect your peace by walking away from situations that don't serve your emotional or mental well-being. You also preserve your peace by setting clear boundaries. Boundaries are not walls meant to isolate you from the world, but guidelines that protect your energy and well-being. They allow you to engage with others without compromising your sense of self. When you are clear about what is acceptable and what is not, you can navigate interactions with greater clarity and confidence. People will only treat you the way you allow them to, and if you tolerate disrespect, negativity, or unnecessary conflict, your peace will be the one that suffers. Setting boundaries is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about knowing your worth and ensuring that you are surrounded by relationships and situations that nurture and respect you. Preserving your peace also means being selective about where you invest your emotional energy. Some battles are simply not worth fighting. Some people will never understand your perspective, and some issues will never be resolved to your satisfaction. The key is to know when to engage and when to step back. Engaging in every conflict, trying to explain yourself to everyone, or worrying about every problem only pulls you away from your center and weakens your peace. Choose wisely where you place your focus. Focus on what aligns with your values and long-term goals and let go of the rest. There is freedom in saying no to things that drain you and peace in choosing not to participate in energy-sapping exchanges. Another crucial aspect of preserving your peace is the ability to let go of past hurts. Holding on to grudges, resentments, and emotional baggage from past experiences is like carrying heavy weight around with you every day. It consumes your mental and emotional space and keeps you tethered to the past, preventing you from moving forward with clarity and purpose. Forgiveness, whether of others or yourself, is a powerful act of releasing what no longer serves you. It's not about excusing poor behavior, it's about freeing yourself from the emotional hold it has over you. When you let go of these burdens, you open up the space for peace to settle into your heart and mind. You also preserve your peace by cultivating a mindset that is grounded in resilience and emotional intelligence. Life will always have its challenges, but how you respond to them is within your control. Instead of reacting emotionally to every setback, disappointment, or confrontation, learn to process your emotions and respond thoughtfully. By doing so, you protect your inner peace from being hijacked by external circumstances. It's about maintaining your sense of stability, even in the midst of chaos. Resilience comes from a deep understanding that while you cannot control everything that happens around you, you can control how you process and move through those experiences. The art of preserving your peace is not passive. It's an active decision to protect what matters most, your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It requires conscious effort and constant evaluation of where your energy is going. When you make the decision to protect your peace, you take control of your life. You stop allowing outside forces to dictate your emotional state. Instead, you cultivate an internal environment of calm, strength, and clarity that no one and nothing can easily disturb. The more you practice this, the stronger your peace becomes, and the more you begin to realize just how much power you have in maintaining your sense of inner tranquility, no matter the external circumstances. Disengagement is often misunderstood as an act of avoidance or retreat, but in reality, it is a powerful choice rooted in strength and wisdom. Many people equate disengagement with weakness, thinking that to truly assert themselves, they must argue, confront, or defend their position. However, the true strength lies in knowing when to disengage, when to step back and let go of the need to prove something, when to walk away from situations that are beneath your dignity, or when to simply detach from conflict without giving it the energy it craves. Disengaging doesn't mean you're running away from a problem. Rather, it's a deliberate decision to preserve your peace, your energy, and your focus. When you choose disengagement, you are choosing not to engage in the futile back and forth, drain you emotionally and mentally. It's a recognition that some people and situations are simply not worth your time or effort. You can engage in a battle of words or emotions, or you can preserve your dignity and refuse to be pulled into drama. The choice to disengage is not a mark of defeat, but an acknowledgement that some situations do not require your energy. True strength is not about the constant need to control or dominate every situation. Strength is knowing when it's better to walk away, knowing when an issue is no longer serving you, and realizing that not every moment demands your emotional involvement. It's the strength to stand firm in your peace and not allow external conflict to disrupt your internal balance. In moments of tension, it takes far more courage and wisdom to stay silent or to disengage than it does to get entangled in a back and forth argument. Disengagement also empowers you to control the trajectory of your life. Many people become ensnared in toxic relationships, unproductive debates, and unhealthy environments simply because they feel an obligation to stay involved, to explain themselves, or to defend their honor. But every moment spent in conflict is a moment you are not spending on your personal growth, your dreams, or your peace. Disengagement is an act of self-preservation, of prioritizing what is truly important and understanding that your time and energy are finite resources. You must choose wisely where to invest them. The strength in disengagement also comes from the understanding that not every disagreement or conflict requires a resolution. Some people may never understand your perspective, and some situations may never be fully reconciled. When you engage in every fight, you risk losing your own sense of direction and clarity. Disengagement allows you to remain focused on your purpose, your goals, and your vision. It is not about being passive, it's about being intentional with where and how you direct your energy. Disengagement gives you the ability to detach from the opinions and judgments of others. Many conflicts arise when we feel the need to defend our identity, beliefs, or choices to others who may not understand or appreciate them. But when you disengage, you assert your independence. You stop seeking validation from external sources and instead become anchored in your own sense of self-worth. When you choose not to react to criticism or to engage with negativity, you reclaim your power. The more you disengage from people or situations that do not serve your best interests, the more you empower yourself to live authentically and with purpose. In every moment of disengagement, you are reinforcing the truth that your peace, your time, and your energy are valuable commodities. It's a reminder that you have the right to choose where to direct your focus. Disengagement is not about giving up or letting others win. It's about choosing to step away from that which would deplete you and redirecting your attention toward what nurtures you. It's an active choice to take control of your own emotional and mental state, rather than allowing others to take it from you. The strength in disengagement is not always obvious to the outside world. People may mistake your silence for weakness or your distance for indifference. But those who truly understand the value of inner strength know that disengagement is a sign of deep emotional intelligence and self-control. It reflects a person who understands their own worth, who knows their own value, and who is not willing to be dragged into unnecessary drama or negativity. It is a testament to the fact that sometimes the most powerful response is not to respond at all. Often in life, we find ourselves in situations where words fail to capture the full depth of our thoughts, intentions, or feelings. We might feel the urge to explain ourselves, justify our actions, or convince others of our worth. But in many instances, the most powerful form of communication is not found in what we say, but in what we do. Let your actions speak louder than words ever could. When you choose to let your actions speak, you embody integrity and authenticity. Actions reveal who you truly are, what you value, what you believe, and what you stand for. Words can be manipulated, misconstrued, or misunderstood, but actions carry a truth that transcends language. Your actions are the proof of your intentions. They are the reflection of your character and your commitment to your beliefs. In a world where promises are often broken and words are cheap, actions are the tangible evidence of your sincerity. Too many people waste energy trying to explain themselves, trying to convince others of their intentions or their capabilities. But when you focus on letting your actions do the talking, you give yourself the space to be who you are without needing external validation. You show up consistently in the way that aligns with your values and vision. You don't need to convince others of your worth or intentions because your actions will reveal it clearly. Over time, people will recognize the integrity behind your actions, and your consistency will speak for itself. Actions also demonstrate your commitment to your own growth and purpose. It's easy to say you are committed to your goals, to speak about your dreams, or to promise change. But real transformation happens when you back up your words with deliberate actions. It's not enough to talk about the kind of person you want to become or the things you want to accomplish. If you truly want to make progress, you must take action, step by step, with discipline and consistency. Every small action you take, every decision you make moves you closer to your vision. Your actions, not your words, show your dedication and the depth of your belief in what you are striving for. When you let your actions speak, you also learn to trust the process of life. It's easy to get caught up in the need for instant results or immediate recognition, but lasting success is built over time through consistent action and perseverance. Trusting the power of your actions means knowing that progress happens incrementally. You don't need to announce every step you take or share every struggle you encounter. The journey is yours to walk, and the results will speak for themselves when the time is right. In relationships, letting your actions speak is one of the most profound ways to build trust and respect. Words can often be empty promises or fleeting gestures, but actions show your true commitment. Whether it's showing up for someone in their time of need, following through on promises, or being consistent in your behavior, your actions provide the foundation for meaningful connections. In a world where many people are quick to offer words of comfort or promises of change, being someone whose actions align with their words makes you a rare and trustworthy presence. People will remember what you do far longer than what you say. Letting your actions speak also requires a level of self-discipline and emotional intelligence. It's about being mindful of your behavior and how it impacts others. Every interaction, every decision, every word you speak is an opportunity to show who you are through action. The way you treat people, the way you handle difficult situations, the way you remain true to your values, these are the things that shape your legacy. You have the power to create a life based on your actions, one that leaves a mark on the world in a way that words alone never could. When you allow your actions to be the voice of your intentions, you free yourself from the pressure of needing to explain or justify yourself. There is a deep peace that comes from knowing that what you do speak so clearly that it requires no further explanation. Your actions become your testimony, your truth, and your power. In a world that often emphasizes the importance of words, there is profound strength in the quiet but undeniable force of consistent, meaningful action. Knowing your value is one of the most important and empowering realizations you can have in life. Too often people base their sense of worth on external validation, how others perceive them, what others think of their choices, or how much praise they receive for their accomplishments. But when you truly understand your value, you no longer need the approval of others to feel confident in who you are. Your value is intrinsic, not defined by external circumstances or fleeting opinions. It is grounded in your unique qualities, your character, and the way you show up in the world. When you know your value, you stop measuring your worth against the standards set by society, by peers, or by superficial benchmarks. The world is full of distractions that try to convince you of your inadequacies, whether it's media, social comparisons, or the opinions of others. But none of these external factors can define your true worth. Your value is not dependent on how many followers you have, how much money you earn, or how popular you are in social circles. These things are temporary and shallow, and they have no bearing on the depth of your true worth. Understanding your value means recognizing the importance of your time, energy, and emotional well-being. When you know your value, you don't waste your energy on people or situations that do not appreciate or respect you. You learn to prioritize your peace and mental health over the approval of others. You become more discerning about where you invest your time, because you understand that your time is finite and should be spent on things that align with your purpose and your long-term vision. People who truly respect and value you will recognize that your time is precious, and they will treat it as such. Knowing your value also means standing firm in your beliefs, even when others try to challenge or undermine them. When you are grounded in your self-worth, you are less likely to be swayed by criticism or judgment. You don't need to defend yourself against every attack or explain your every decision. Your value is not determined by other people's opinions, and you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You are confident in the decisions you make because they align with your core values and your understanding of who you are. When you know your value, you also know that you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. This doesn't mean that you are entitled or arrogant. It simply means that you refuse to settle for less than what you deserve. Whether in relationships, in your career, or in your personal life, knowing your value means not allowing others to treat you in ways that undermine your self-respect. You have a right to set boundaries, to speak up when something isn't right, and to walk away from situations that do not honor your worth. This self-awareness allows you to make better decisions both in your personal and professional life. When you understand your own value, you are more likely to pursue opportunities that align with your passions and strengths rather than chasing validation or approval from others. You don't settle for mediocrity because you know you are capable of greatness. You approach challenges with confidence, knowing that you have the inner strength, skills, and resilience to handle whatever comes your way. Knowing your value also helps you to be kinder to yourself. We can often be our own harshest critics, focusing on our perceived flaws or mistakes. But when you truly understand your worth, you begin to accept yourself, flaws and all. You recognize that perfection is not the goal, growth and self-compassion are. Understanding your value means forgiving yourself for past mistakes, learning from them, and moving forward with a sense of grace. You no longer seek validation outside yourself because you have already recognized the value you bring to the world. When you know your value, you are no longer afraid to walk away from situations, relationships, or opportunities that do not serve your best interests. You understand that you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, situations that challenge you to grow, and opportunities that align with your goals and aspirations. You stop tolerating negativity, toxic dynamics, or any form of abuse. You recognize that your worth is too great to be diminished by those who fail to appreciate or respect you. In essence, knowing your value is the foundation for living a life of authenticity, peace, and fulfillment. It frees you from the constant need to seek external approval and empowers you to make decisions that align with your true self. When you know your value, you are no longer swayed by the opinions of others or dictated by the expectations of the world. You stand firm in your own worth, and that confidence becomes the guiding force for every step you take. Boundaries are an essential part of living a healthy and balanced life, yet they are often misunderstood or underappreciated. Many people, especially those who are people pleasers or prone to overextending themselves, view boundaries as restrictive or even selfish. But in reality, boundaries are a powerful form of self-care, self-respect, and personal empowerment. They define the space between you and others, allowing you to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being, while also giving you the freedom to engage in relationships and commitments in a way that is healthy and sustainable. Setting boundaries is a way of communicating to the world what is acceptable and what is not. It is an act of self-awareness that shows you understand your own limits and are willing to respect them. When you set clear boundaries, you are telling yourself and others that your needs, values, and well-being matter. You are making it clear that you will no longer tolerate behavior or situations that drain you, diminish your self-worth, or undermine your peace of mind. Far from being an act of selfishness, boundaries are an essential act of self-respect. They allow you to show up for yourself so you can show up for others in a healthy, balanced way. The power of boundaries lies in their ability to create emotional safety. Without boundaries, we open ourselves up to being manipulated, overwhelmed, or consumed by the demands and expectations of others. We give too much of ourselves, our time, energy, and emotions without ever considering whether it is serving us or the other person. Boundaries prevent this. They create a healthy distance between you and people or situations that are draining or toxic. By establishing clear limits, you make space for your own emotional and mental clarity. You are no longer swayed by every request, every demand, or every crisis that comes your way. Instead, you are empowered to prioritize what aligns with your values and goals. One of the most important aspects of boundaries is that they allow you to protect your energy. The world is full of people and situations that can siphon off your emotional reserves if you are not careful. Setting boundaries means protecting your peace by saying no when necessary and not feeling guilty for doing so. It means not overcommitting yourself to the point of exhaustion and not tolerating behavior that drains your spirit. When you protect your energy through boundaries, you ensure that you have the capacity to engage with the world in a way that is positive and aligned with your personal goals and values. Boundaries are also critical in building healthy, respectful relationships. They allow you to engage with others without losing yourself. Too often, we enter relationships, whether personal or professional, without clear boundaries, and we end up feeling disrespected or taken advantage of. Setting boundaries means that you understand what you are willing to accept in a relationship and what you are not. It allows you to communicate your needs, whether it's the need for time alone, the need for respect, or the need for personal space. Without boundaries, relationships become imbalanced, with one person giving more than they are receiving, or one person's needs taking precedence over the others. Boundaries ensure that both parties in a relationship are treated with dignity and respect. When you have healthy boundaries, you also give yourself permission to say no without guilt. This can be one of the most liberating aspects of boundary setting. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear disappointing others or feeling rejected. However, when you know your limits and you set boundaries, saying no becomes an act of self-preservation, not selfishness. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And when you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you are creating the space to say yes to what matters most, your own well-being, growth, and peace of mind. Establishing boundaries is also crucial in preventing burnout. Many people, especially those with a strong desire to help others, may constantly give, without ever taking a step back to assess whether their own needs are being met. This can lead to emotional exhaustion, resentment, and ultimately burnout. Boundaries prevent this by allowing you to acknowledge your own needs and take the time to recharge when necessary. By setting clear limits around your time and energy, you give yourself permission to take care of yourself without feeling guilty. At times, setting boundaries requires courage. There may be people in your life who push against your limits or try to guilt trip you into bending them. But the true power of boundaries is knowing when to stand firm. It's about learning to advocate for yourself, even if it feels uncomfortable. The more you practice setting and enforcing your boundaries, the more you will recognize that they are a reflection of your self-worth. As you begin to respect your own limits, you will naturally attract people who respect them as well. People who truly value you will understand and honor your boundaries, while those who do not will reveal themselves for who they are. Boundaries are an expression of your autonomy. They are the silent but powerful declaration that you are the keeper of your own life and well-being. When you take control of your own boundaries, you stop letting others define your limits, and you start defining for yourself. You become the author of your own narrative, and you engage with the world from a place of strength and clarity. By setting boundaries, you protect your peace, honor your needs, and ensure that your life aligns with your values and vision for the future. Rising above conflict requires a level of emotional maturity and inner strength that allows you to navigate challenges without losing your sense of peace or integrity. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, where emotions run high and the instinct to defend, argue, or retaliate takes over. But true strength lies in the ability to rise above conflict, to view it from a higher perspective, and to respond with wisdom rather than reacting impulsively. Rising above conflict means you no longer allow external circumstances or other people's behavior to dictate your emotional state. You become the calm in the storm, choosing your response rather than being swept away by the chaos around you. One of the first steps in rising above conflict is recognizing that not every situation requires a reaction. Many conflicts arise from misunderstandings, different perspectives, or the projection of emotions. In these moments, it's important to pause and take a step back. When you're in the midst of a disagreement or tense situation, the instinct to react, whether it's to defend yourself, argue your point, or escalate the conflict, can be overwhelming. But rising above conflict means giving yourself the space to breathe, to consider your response, and to decide whether this conflict is worth your energy in the first place. You have the power to choose how to engage with the situation, and sometimes the wisest choice is simply not to engage at all. Rising above conflict also means recognizing that the conflict itself is often a reflection of something deeper, whether it's a personal insecurity, a difference in values, or unresolved emotions. Instead of being consumed by the conflict, it's important to see it as an opportunity for growth. Conflict, while uncomfortable, can serve as a mirror, revealing things about ourselves or others that may need attention. When you rise above the immediate emotional charge of a situation, you have the chance to reflect on what's really at the core of the disagreement. You begin to see that the conflict is not just about winning or losing, but about understanding and growth. In moments of conflict, it's also crucial to stay grounded in your own sense of purpose and values. When you rise above conflict, you don't lose sight of who you are and what you stand for. Many people, when faced with opposition or criticism, become defensive and reactive. But when you maintain a clear understanding of your own values, you can engage with conflict from a place of clarity rather than emotional reactivity. You are not shaken by every disagreement or differing opinion because you know who you are. And you don't need to prove yourself to others. Rising above conflict means that you remain anchored in your truth without feeling the need to defend or justify it to anyone. A powerful aspect of rising above conflict is learning the art of forgiveness. Holding on to anger, resentment, or grudges only keeps you tied to the conflict, preventing you from moving forward with peace. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior or letting someone off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight of the situation. When you forgive, you release the grip that the conflict has on you, and you take back your peace. It's a conscious choice to not allow the actions of others to control your emotional state or your sense of self. By rising above conflict and practicing forgiveness, you elevate yourself, moving from a place of emotional turbulence to one of emotional freedom. Rising above conflict also requires emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize and manage your own emotions and to empathize with the emotions of others. Instead of seeing conflict as something to win, you begin to see it as an opportunity for connection and understanding. When you approach conflict with empathy, you can listen to the other person's perspective without feeling threatened or defensive. You understand that their emotions, thoughts, and actions come from their own experiences, and that may not always align with your own. Rising above conflict means being able to hear others without reacting, to see them as human beings with their own struggles rather than seeing them as adversaries. Another critical element of rising above conflict is knowing when to walk away. Not every conflict is worth resolving, and not every person is worth engaging with. Sometimes the best way to rise above conflict is to simply remove yourself from a toxic or unproductive situation. This is not about avoiding challenges, but about recognizing when further involvement would only deepen the tension or harm your peace. Knowing when to disengage is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. It's about protecting your energy and not allowing yourself to be caught in unnecessary drama. By choosing to step away from conflict when necessary, you maintain your integrity and avoid getting entangled in a situation that detracts from your well-being. Rising above conflict involves a shift in perspective. It requires you to move away from the desire to be right or to win and instead focus on finding resolution and peace. Conflict often arises when two or more people are entrenched in their own beliefs and desires to be validated. But rising above it means being willing to let go of the need to dominate the conversation or to impose your viewpoint on others. Instead, you seek understanding. You look for common ground, even in the midst of disagreement. Rising above conflict is not about being passive or avoiding difficult conversations. It's about approaching them with maturity, wisdom, and an openness to growth. In the end, rising above conflict is an act of personal empowerment. It's about choosing not to be controlled by the circumstances around you, and instead, choosing to act from a place of inner strength and emotional intelligence. It's about maintaining your peace and staying true to your values no matter what is happening around you. When you rise above conflict, you take control of your emotional state, your responses, and your life. You stop allowing external circumstances to dictate your happiness, and instead you create a life where peace, understanding, and resilience are the guiding forces. Growth through discretion is the ability to make intentional, thoughtful decisions about where to invest your time, energy, and resources. It's the practice of exercising wisdom in how you engage with the world and the people around you, knowing that every interaction, every choice shapes your path forward. Discretion is not about withholding, being secretive, or being overly cautious. Rather, it is the discernment to choose what aligns with your values, goals, and long-term vision, while avoiding things that may distract, drain, or derail you from your purpose. When you grow through discretion, you begin to recognize the power of selective engagement. Not every opportunity needs to be seized, not every conversation needs to be had, and not every person needs to be entertained. Discretion allows you to be more selective in where and how you invest your energy. The more discerning you become, the clearer it becomes that not every invitation to engage is worth accepting. Growth happens when you understand that not all experiences, relationships, or distractions will contribute to your overall development. Some may, in fact, pull you away from your true purpose, cloud your judgment, or drain your emotional and mental resources. By being selective and intentional, you protect your peace and foster growth in areas that truly matter. Discretion also teaches you the value of timing. Knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait, is a critical aspect of growth. Too often, people rush to react or respond without considering the consequences of their actions. Growth through discretion involves learning patience, understanding that timing is key to success. Sometimes waiting for the right moment to take action, to express your thoughts, or to make a move in your career or relationships is the most powerful choice you can make. Timing allows you to avoid unnecessary conflict, make more strategic decisions, and ensure that your actions have the desired impact. An important aspect of growth through discretion is learning the power of saying no. This is not a rejection of opportunities, but rather a conscious decision to protect your time, focus, and energy. There will always be demands on your time and attention, but discretion allows you to say no to what doesn't serve you, to what distracts you from your goals, or to what compromises your values. The ability to say no with confidence and without guilt is essential for personal growth, because it frees you up to say yes to what truly matters. When you make the deliberate choice to protect your resources, be it your time, energy, or emotions, you create the space to pursue your true passions and grow in meaningful ways. Growth through discretion also involves the cultivation of emotional intelligence. It's the ability to choose your responses thoughtfully, based on awareness of both your feelings and the feelings of others. In any given situation, discretion allows you to pause and reflect before reacting. You can take the time to assess whether responding in a certain way will contribute to the situation or escalate it unnecessarily. This level of emotional maturity enables you to engage with others in a way that fosters respect, understanding, and compassion, rather than impulsively defending yourself, reacting in anger, or being influenced by external pressures. As you grow through discretion, you begin to see that not every conversation or disagreement needs to be resolved immediately. Sometimes letting things be or giving them time to unfold leads to more clarity and wisdom. Discretion encourages you to practice restraint, to pause before speaking, and to think deeply about the implications of your words and actions. In a world that often encourages quick reactions and hasty decisions, discretion offers the opportunity to pause and gain perspective before moving forward. This approach leads to better decision-making, improved relationships, and a more thoughtful, purposeful life. Discretion is a key factor in maintaining healthy boundaries. By exercising discretion, you become more mindful of who you allow into your inner circle and how much of yourself you choose to share with others. Not every person needs to know everything about you, and not every relationship is meant to be deeply intimate or revealing. Discretion helps you maintain a balance between openness and privacy, ensuring that you protect your personal space and emotional well-being while still engaging meaningfully with those you trust. Growth through discretion also requires developing the ability to assess the long-term impact of your decisions. In a world full of immediate gratification, it can be easy to make choices based on short-term comfort or convenience. But true growth comes when you make decisions based on the long-term benefits they will bring to your life. Discretion allows you to weigh the consequences of your actions, understanding that what may seem appealing in the moment could have lasting effects on your personal growth, your relationships, or your overall well-being. By considering the broader picture, you ensure that your decisions align with your vision for the future, rather than getting swept up in the momentary allure of distractions or superficial desires. Another key aspect of growth through discretion is the ability to learn from experience. As you encounter various situations in life, discretion helps you reflect on past experiences and apply the lessons learned. When you are able to discern what worked and what didn't in previous interactions or decisions, you can adjust your approach moving forward. Growth becomes a continuous process of refining your ability to make better choices, avoid mistakes, and evolve based on the knowledge and wisdom you've accumulated along the way. Growth through discretion is about cultivating a life of intentionality and purpose. It is about taking the time to reflect, assess, and choose wisely, rather than being swept along by the demands or pressures of others. It is about recognizing that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable resources, and that you have the power to direct them toward things that will elevate you and help you grow. The more you practice discretion, the more you protect your personal peace, enhance your emotional intelligence, and make choices that bring you closer to the person you are meant to become. The power of discretion is one of the greatest tools we have in our journey toward personal growth. It is the silent force that guides us to make wiser decisions, to protect our time and energy, and to respond with clarity rather than reaction. As we grow through discretion, we begin to realize that our greatest strength lies not in the decisions we make impulsively, but in the wisdom of those we make deliberately and thoughtfully. Remember, life is not about being everywhere, doing everything, or pleasing everyone. It's about being present, being intentional, and guarding your peace. Each choice, each moment of restraint, each moment of discernment adds to the foundation of a life lived with purpose, depth, and integrity. The power of discretion allows you to say no when necessary, protect your boundaries, and focus on the things that truly matter without being swayed by distractions or external pressures. So as you move forward, understand that growth is not just about the things you do, but also about the things you choose not to engage with, the moments you choose to pause, and the wisdom you gather along the way. Trust your ability to make decisions with discretion, and know that each choice brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. Your time, energy, and peace are precious. Don't give them away lightly. Rise with the understanding that true growth comes from knowing when to act, when to wait, and when to walk away. Your journey is yours to create, and the power of discretion is one of the most powerful tools you can wield to shape it.